Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. We've got a really exciting project today. We have a new delivery, and I don't really like these unboxing videos, but this is one that I think is going to be really worth recording. It's a really exciting spider, or I think so anyway. I love these spiders. We don't see very many of them. So what we're going to do, we are going to set up these two small enclosures. Now I know you guys are going to ask me in the comments what these are. These are basically, these enclosures are designed for better fish, Siamese fighting fish, and you can get them on the internet, and they are called multifunctional enclosures. Now I really like them for some of the small stuff. I also use these for many of my arboreal male spiders because it can curtail their movements. They're just the right size. You can keep an adult male pokey of any of them in one of these, and they're absolutely perfect. They're really cool. So I do like them a lot, and you'd have seen them dotted around the room. I have them all over the place. They're everywhere. So what we're going to do, we are going to set up for this spider, because you still don't know what it is, do you? So we are going to set this up. Well, you might have known, because it would have been in the title, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's in the title, isn't it? Silly me. It's in the title. That's not going to be a surprise then, is it? So what we're setting up for here is our new trapdoor spiders, and these are the Damarchus workmani, which is these are an Asian trapdoor spider, and they do get quite big. These can get up to about 7 centimeters or so. Now they don't tend to have, ones we've had in the past, they don't tend to have massively deep burrows. They tend to just sit almost in the top of it, and they create a really unique, literally like a trapdoor with these amazing trap lines that run out across the top of them. And what we're going to do, we're going to set them up today, and hopefully we'll get a good look at them. These are supposedly going to be sub-adult, so they should be of a reasonable size. And then what we will do, we will come back and visit them again at a later date and have a look at their trapdoors and how they're getting on. So they'll be a really cool one to sort of follow and see what's going on. So we're going to give them this here that we're putting in now. This is basically just some potting compost, slightly more rooty stuff, this stuff, which I think will actually make a nice thing. It's almost like it's got moss and bits and pieces in it, as you can see. It's got the stuff in there, so that will hold a bit of moisture, and that's important because these guys really do like a high humidity. So they're going to be wanting it up around about the 80s, even 90% is what is being recommended for these guys. So we will find out in due course how accurate that information is. Now I know the ones in the past that we've had, they've not been, as long as the top is it, you can keep the top dry, and as long as we keep the undersides moist, these guys will be perfectly fine. So we've put in our normal stuff there. Then what we're going to do, we're going to add a bit of our leaf litter into it as well, only in the top surface, doesn't need to go all the way through. Now I think this leaf litter will be worthwhile because it's going to give our spiders something to work on, give them a little bit of substance within the stuff. Now, as many of you may well know, with the trapdoor spiders, they only need a very basic environment, and that's because they literally do just build a hole in the floor and they disappear, so we don't see them. So they are one of them things that they spend their whole life literally hidden away, tucked away, where we don't see them. But where they are fascinating is in the fact that when it comes to feeding time, how they come flying out of these trapdoors to actually feed. Now what we're doing now is we are cleaning these to the top point because we want our glass to be really nice and clean. And this is because if we're going to get any kinds of footage later on of these guys feeding, which is the most exciting part of keeping them, then we want nice clean glass. We don't want to be messing around. So what we're going to do, we are going to literally just make a little hollow in the center of each tub, just like that. Now we don't need to worry too much about them climbing up the glass because they're not very good at climbing up glass. Now these are classed in the same group as our funnel webs, and they are quite often referred to as tube funnel webs. So they're a really, really exciting spider. As I said before, these come into the hobby every now and again. We see them from time to time, but we don't see them as frequently as we used to years ago. Right. Alright, here we are. These are very warm. Oh, we had a heat pad in here. Right. So we will see how these go. Now, generally speaking, this time of year, we don't have to worry too much about heat packs. These guys are fairly tolerant. Now this one here, this is our subadult female, and we should have a subadult male, which is this one here. So what we're going to do, these have been labelled already, so we can use this label. We can put that on here so we know who's who. Absolutely perfect. Also, if you look on here, this is something that you learn very quickly in the zoo world, something that we were taught all the time. This here is the sign for a male of the species, so it doesn't matter whether you're a spider or an elephant. This is the sign for a male, and that there is the sign for a female. So these signs run true whether you're a spider, an elephant or a human being. We are all denoted by these signs when it comes to actually, when you see these come up on the different things that you'll see when things are being labelled. Right, so now we're going to find out. Now these guys are not known for their best behaviour. They tend to be rather fast, and they can be rather naughty. So we are going to, he's in there, I can see movement. Here he is, there he is there. You can just about see him in there.
Yeah, we can see him, not very much detail.
Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to pull the whole tissue out and we're going to lay it in there. That's it, we've done that. Now, let's see if we can't get him to move out. We might have to unwrap him. There we go. Always be careful of your fingers when you're doing this, because just remember, these guys can be a little bit on the quick side. Will make you jump. There he is. We're going to ask him to...
While you got him on the tissue, can we have a look at him so he don't just disappear in the brown?
Yeah, we can try. Trying to get the tissue to stay where we want it. There we go. Can we see that?
It's jet black, is he? Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Now these guys are also known as the Orange Leg Trapdoor. So we would hope, and this is in fact not a subadult male, this is a mature male. If we can have a look in there, can you see in there, you will see a hook on the leg. See the hook?
Nice and still for me while I focus.
Hook on that leg. And you will also see there is in fact emboli on his pedipalps. So this is a mature male.
Oh, yeah, now we can see that.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's much clearer.
Right, so this...
If you push the tissue back down for me. Perfect, right there. Yep.
So this is in fact a mature male. And as you can see, he's not very big. He's only a small individual.
Perfect.
So this is going to be rather interesting because we will see. Right, so we're going to get him off the tissue now. He's being very, very well behaved. We're going to ask him to leave nice and gently. I don't want him running up the tissue. We want him to go onto the soil. There we go. Very good. Very, very good. Right. So, are we getting a nice view of him, or should I turn that a little bit so you're on top?
Just a tiny touch this way for me, Dave. That's it, about, I can sort of get him a bit face on here.
That's cool.
It actually looks a lot bluer.
Yep, very, very nice. So what we'll do is we will leave him there. Now I think one of the things that we have seen with these spiders, it's very rare you'll ever see them drink. We are still going to offer a water bowl. So we're going to put one in there. Now this may well end up being filled in at a later date when he digs his burrow. We will see. Now it's interesting that we have a mature male there. I was rather hoping for a subadult male. So now we're going to have to see whether our female is large enough to be able to breed, or whether she is going to be a bit behind. So we'll put that one, we'll swap these over. As you can see, they are absolutely really, really cool looking spider. Now this is our female, so what we'll do is we'll take the label off again, and we'll place that on here so that we know who we've got. Now she should in theory be a little bit bigger than him, so we are going to find that out. We'll find that out now. So we're going to open up our tissue. All being well, she will be as well behaved as the male. Now one of the things that you will often see about these guys is they don't have the best manners. And we've been lucky so far. So we will see if our luck persists. Yes, she is quite a bit bigger than him. And she's in there, and she actually has her colour in as well. So she is probably pretty much...
Again, we can see black.
almost adult. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to fold this out. When you're pulling these out like this, she is facing down inside the sling pot. The easiest way to get these guys out is to pull your tissue back like this, make it like that, so that we can get hold of it. Now we can grip it, and it's also sealed off her exit. She can't disappear out. Now what we're going to have to do, as you can see here, this is a really long piece of tissue, but the other end is sealed as well. So it just gives us that little bit of confidence there when we're opening it up. And what we can do is, we don't want that there. Now she's turned around, and she had enough room. Now you can see the golden legs.
Don't dribble.
And we can see that there. And got all other tweezers. They're being very, very well behaved. Alright. I'm so much easier with my fingers. I wouldn't suggest you guys do this. So what we're going to do, we're going to see if we can't get this out just a little bit more. Now these do have the habit of acting like they're asleep and then they spring into action. So we're just going to, there she goes.
Didn't even,
So
she's over in that corner.
We'll take that out. Yeah, so this is a sub-adult female. And she's probably not quite old enough to breed. As we have a male, it may well be worth just trying them, because sometimes these guys can take at a youngish age. What we will need to do is we will need to hook her out and we will just have a look underneath at her epigastric furrow, and if she's a nice dark colour, then we will go ahead and we will try and pair them, and just to see what happens. It's going to be a really, really interesting thing to do. Be a fascinating project. And I think she has got a little bit of growing. These guys can get up to 6 to 7 centimetres, so they're looking like this. So she's not far off. She won't.
Sorry, Dave.
She won't be far off. She's 6-7 centimetres, so about that big. Full leg span. So she's not a terrific amount off. As you can see there, she's very, very nicely coloured. If we'll try and get her to stretch out on the floor. There we go. As you can see, what she really wants to do is hide. We'll leave her like that. We won't give her too much grief. I'll take that little leaf out there. And all we can do now is wait and see what happens. So we're going to put a water bowl in here as well. Now, this sometimes happens when we're buying our spiders in, and we've mentioned this before in the past, that when we're looking at getting breeding pairs, it is difficult because, you know, subadults and adults can sometimes be literally a molt away, or they can be a few molts away, and getting our males at the right time, that is the key to success. Now, with these guys here, we've obviously got a mature male. So he has already had his molt, he's matured, he's ready to go. Now all we can do really is either hope that we can maybe source another large adult female and go with that, because we've already got our male, so we can give that a try, and we can also try him with this female. So she's not, I would have said she is probably, yeah, I'd have said she was like 4 or 5 centimetres in leg span. So she's a tiny bit short, but we could class her as a young adult. And she's already got that colour in as well, which is a good sign. So that's looking like a sign for an adult spider. So that is about it. And as you can see, we've got really, really basic enclosures. We mentioned earlier on, they really do enjoy a high humidity. These guys come from Asia, and they do like that high humidity. So it's important that we keep our soil at a reasonable dampness, and we can do that by literally looking in the side, and we can check by the colour. As soon as this starts going light in colour, we know that we need to add some water to it to bring that richness back into the colour of the soil. That is how we indicate whether we've got it damp enough or not. If it starts going really, really dark and you're seeing moisture on your glass, you know it's too wet. It's far too wet. So it's just a case of literally dribbling stuff in there and seeing, you know, you'll get it. You'll get your head around it. Just dribble it in there and keep that colour at a nice even colour throughout, and that will do the job. Now we put the water bowl in there. purely because these guys have been in transit, so they may well drink before they start to build a trapdoor and get themselves sorted out. He just gives them the option. If they are thirsty, they've got it there. Once they get down into their traps, they will be getting all of their moisture through their food. So don't be too worried about a water bowl once they've built their trapdoors. It's not really that necessary. And once they do build that, you really won't get to see much of it anyway. So they're one of them spiders. Now these really are a fascinating spider. In terms of handling, do not handle them. These guys will bite you. They're not renowned for their patience, so you need to be very, very careful. They can't climb the glass, so as long as you keep it like we have here, this is 2/3 full, it's fine. It's not going to escape. It's not going to get out. So you just need to be careful with what you're doing there. But whatever you do, don't go sticking your finger in there. You might well end up wearing a trapdoor spider, and it's not going to be pleasant. So don't be tempted to try and touch these guys. They have got a rather severe bite, and as we said earlier on, they are related, they're in the same family, the megalomorphs, as our funnel webs. So treat them with some respect. Right, hopefully now what we're going to do, we're going to put these up on the shelf and we're going to let them settle down. Hopefully within the next 24 hours or so they would have built their trapdoors. Once they've done that, we will then try and feed them. I wouldn't suggest trying to feed them until they've built that trapdoor, because they will not settle down and food is likely to upset them. So let them get their trapdoors built. Once they've done that, then try them with some food items. And these guys will only need small food items at this size. So we're looking at red runners really, that type of thing, crickets, anything like that, that will be ideal for these guys. Right then, well I hope you enjoyed that. These really are a fabulous new addition to the room. I'm really excited about these. I do love my trapdoors, but we very rarely get to have any. We don't see them very often, and I tend to be a bit slow in the list. I need to move quicker, but we were lucky with these guys, so I'm really, really pleased. Right, so stay tuned. We will bring an update of their new homes. They're going to be fantastic. Right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I will see you soon, guys.